straight arm shoulder axial rotations. So you're going to hold the ball in your hand. You decide how hard you squeeze that ball. The harder you squeeze it, the more force goes into the shoulder. So try your best to stay within a pain-free range of motion, and you're just going to be rotating the shoulder through multiple angles. And as you do this, I want you to notice where and how it feels. Do not go into painful ranges. Try to stay in those pain-free zones. So for something like this, you'd put 60 seconds to 2 minutes on the clock, and you would just be moving continuously through this axial rotation of the shoulder joint. Bent arm shoulder axial rotations. So this version here puts a little bit more force into that joint. So I want you to make sure that the shoulder doesn't shrug up and that the ribs don't extend. So keep the shoulder down, keep the ribs down as you move through this position. When you're rotating, try to keep the elbow in the same spot. If you experience pain in that top position, you can start with the elbow down at your side, and then you can work your way up to that position. But again, the goal is to keep that shoulder in the socket as you rotate into internal and external rotation. Try to stay within a pain-free zone. Standing shoulder car. So with that ball, you're going to squeeze it to generate more tension as you take the shoulder through its full pain-free range of motion without any other joint getting involved. Keep the tempo somewhat slow and controlled, and try to breathe through those sticky spots. Any painful areas you want to avoid. Quadruped position shoulder car. So here we're using gravity just to challenge that shoulder in a different way. Make sure you maintain even pressure through that hand that's on the floor as you take the shoulder through a pain-free range of motion. Try your best to keep the neck in the same position and not to change the spinal position too much. An easier version would be full side lying shoulder car. So here again, gravity is being used to just challenge that shoulder in a different way. Squeeze that ball as much as you need and try not to move the neck or the ribs too much. A progression from the full side lying would be to pop up into the elbow and take the shoulder through a pain-free range of motion. Again, try to keep the neck neutral. Shoulder internal rotation lift-offs. You're going to have your hand behind your back, and you're just going to lift your fist off your back, hold for 2 to 3 seconds, trying to squeeze out more range of motion. Next, you have your lift-offs with an elbow hinge. So you're going to lift the fist off the back as you hinge the elbow. Try your best to keep the elbow nice and high. You want to feel your tricep firing in this exercise. You have your lift-offs with your external rotation. So here you want to add that ball to make it a little bit more challenging. You're going to keep that arm behind you as you lift off and you rotate. External rotation, lift-offs with internal rotation. So you're going to start with the hand behind the back. You lift off, you rotate, and you bring back. So adding the ball makes it a little bit more challenging because you can now squeeze that ball to put a little bit more force in the shoulder. If you start to feel pain with this, just drop the height of that arm. Putting it all together, you're going to take the shoulder through all the ranges of motion. So abduction, external rotation, internal rotation, working through this. Every time your hand goes behind the head counts as 1 rep. Bent arm shoulder car. So this is just another variation of the shoulder car. You're going to take a tennis ball, trap it between the bicep and the forearm, and you're going to take your shoulder through a pain-free range of motion. So here I have my hand on my rib cage so that I don't extend through my lower back whenever I'm moving my shoulder, and try your best to keep your neck in a neutral position.